this new fabulous discovery that is coming out. About 200 years before Christ, up until right at about the time of Christ, in other words, about 2,000 years ago, there now appears that there were wealthy West African and North African blacks who left Africa on a pilgrimage and came, if you can believe this or not, but there's solid proof for it now, to southern Illinois. Now I'll explain how that happened. In 1982, our time, there was a guy who was going along southern Illinois. He was a cave hunter. And he was, I don't know if you're familiar with southern Illinois at all, on the Ohio River. It's just honeycombed with caves, thousands of caves. They have not all been explored by any means. And he was involved in sports for hunting in caves. That's done all the time. It's rough work. Sometimes these caves are very narrow. He went into, to make a long story short, he went into this cave that no one had ever seen before. And he squeezed through a very narrow entrance, and all of a sudden it turned out into an enormous room. And in this room, he found great sarcophagi, or coffins, coffin lids, made out of stone. The walls are engraved with all kinds of stories, picture stories of men and women in old costumes from the ancient world. And then on the floor, he found stacks of thousands upon thousands of these black rocks that were beautifully engraved with the profiles of people, not Indians, people from other parts of the world.
Say what?
Some of them were white. The profiles of people, not Indians, people from other parts of the world.
Say what?
Some of them were the profiles of people, not Indians, people from other parts of the world. Some of them were white, some of them were Asian, but hundreds are of black people, all in profile. They are made on a type of rock that is found really mostly only in southern Illinois in caves. This rock is like a clay. You pull it out of the ground and you have like a stylus or a pen, and you can draw on it real fast. You can draw profiles and letters, and then as it dries, it turns into a hard rock. And these rocks are piled up on the floor of this cave. Now, this man's name is Russell Burroughs. He's not an archaeologist. He's just a spelunker. He's a cave enthusiast. He brought these out over time. They're very difficult to bring out because the cave entrance is so narrow. And he's brought out now almost 10,000 of these magnificent tablets. They're very crude looking as rocks are concerned, but the drawings are beautiful. And they show the profiles of black people, some with scarification, which is West African, mostly with not that, some with specifically West African robes, which are still used today. Some will have a man on one side and a woman on the other. Some will be entirely women. It has each one of these 10,000 have a script associated with these pictures. Nobody's been able to translate the script. Well, since 1982, this place has really been contested a lot, but finally some professional archaeologists are involved, some top archaeologists, and they have verified that it is all authentic, and they have dated it now, and there's going to be a lot of information released in the next few weeks and months about this find. Who are these people portrayed in this cave? Not all black, but a lot of them are black. Some of them will show like a black man with a kind of a sailor's cap, and in the background will show like a ship or a fish. It seems as though they're portraying a captain or a sailor of some kind. It's now understood, it's very involved, complex. You'll see the whole story in our magazine in the next few issues. It appears as though around the time of Christ, just before the coming of Christ, in Rome, there were a great many mystery cults. And these mystery cults, they were mystery because they were secret, not because it was a mystery. It was secret. And in order to get into this mystery cult, you had to go through different levels of initiation, like the Freemasons, which are not unrelated to it, believe it or not. There were many mystery cults like this, the cult of Osiris, the cult of Isis, and a lot of other cults we don't know about. And to get into these cults, we do know you had to pay money, you had to be fairly well off, and the final stage of all these mystery cults, you had to go on a long pilgrimage, a long quest. All that cost money, but you would go on this long quest to a sacred place. And at that final sacred place, you go through an initiation of some kind.
All right, you talking about something else. The main things that he was talking about, peace and love to all the Moors out there, all the Muslims, all the Asiatics. The main thing that this European hybrid was talking about was that in Illinois, this was found. Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois, this is what was found here. This is what was found here. Peace be upon the prophet Noble Drew Ali, because he's the one who said in the 1920s he was going to make the Europeans tell the truth. Now, you see the date on that. This video is like 1990 something. You see this? How he said it was going to be, it was a man and a woman side by side. Gold artifacts from the Kincaid Tunnel. They on display at the Smithsonian in D.C. He said Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti. Guess where these was found, though? These was found in the Grand Canyon. Huh? Why you thinking because of the indoctrination of the schools, they didn't got us out here thinking that this type of golden artifacts, this type of history was found somewhere else that wasn't the Americas. Fam, when I tell you that we've been lied to about literally everything. Everything. You got people out here today that keep thinking that we got brought over here as slaves. Whole time, slave is Slav. It has to do with these people. Slovakians, Slovenians. These are the Slavic people. Our people are not slaves. We never have been slaves. Again, slave is a bloodline. It's not a people. You need a receipt on that, right? Check it out. You need a receipt on that. You need to really see it. Peace and love to all y'all Moors out there. Look, you need to see a receipt. Here go a receipt right here. Let's go. You need to see a receipt. And you got these dirty people who still say, nah, we got brought over here as slaves. Pick up this book right here. They were Europeans and they were slaves. Remember, Europeans are not white people. Got to stop calling them white people. That's a spell. That's not who they are. They're European hybrids. So we got brought over here as slaves. Then how this get over here? How was this found in Northern Illinois? How? How was an Egyptian mortuary statuette found in Northern Illinois? You see, when you start using critical thinking, you start busting these people up because their lies can't hold no weight no more. All you got to do is start using critical thinking. That's all you got to start doing. We collectively have to start critically thinking, to problem solve, to use logic instead of emotion, to use reasoning instead of how I feel. How you feel don't matter. What's the facts behind and the evidence behind what you're talking about? That's what matters, not how somebody feel. This book right here is dropping, I'm talking about just ether, pure ether. Look at this. Let me show you what I'm talking about the Slavs. See this about the Slavs? Look. It says, what about the Slavs? Right here. What does it say about the Slavs? It said the word slave and Negro, while labeling descriptions of the historic experience of so-called whites in slavery, is a fallacy. Yet the very word slave, quote unquote, which the establishment's consensus school of history pretends cannot legitimately be applied to so-called whites, is derived from the word Slav. Bing fucking bong. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the word slave is another name for the so-called white people of Eastern Europe. You say, what? So how could we ever be a slave if we're not Eastern Europeans? You see that? You see how everything been a lie? Everything has been a lie from this school. And look what Dr. John Henry Clark said from the book, We Are Not Black. Check this out. You want to see something crazy? What he said? He said, to control a people, you must first control what they think about themselves and how they regard their history, culture. And when your conqueror makes you ashamed of your culture and your history, he needs no prison wall and chain to hold you. How can you expect powerful people to give you the training and give you the education that will make you take their power away from them? The public school system is not an educational institution. You must distinguish between education and training. Damn. If you don't distinguish between education and training, you in the trap. You're in the trap. Case in point, there's only two things, according to the Circle 7, on this planet. It's only two things that are consistent. Two things. You know what them two things is? The two things are this right here. In all the world, there are two things. The one is truth. The other is falsehood. And falsehood, that which seems to be. So they out here capping so crazy. I'm talking about people that look just like us. They look just like us. You need some more. I'm letting y'all know on this beam out right now, it's finna be receipt after receipt after receipt, books, videos. We going in. Look, from the book, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, J.A. Rogers. Get this. And if this might be your first time here, I show these books off not to brag about no books. I show these books off because it's going to take all of us to get in tune with the literature, to be aware of what's going on. Feelings and beliefs are not going to get us where we need to be. We got to understand that, and understand that. Just because you feel something, that don't mean you know something. We got to start knowing. That'd be like one of the main problems with us. We go by emotions and how we feel about something, if we like it or not. Now, what are the facts behind what's going on what happened? So, if you crack this book open, y'all know all these so-called black educators, right? Y'all name them off the top of your head. All of the so-called prominent black educators with their giant podcasts and with their giant, you know what I'm saying? They giant crowds that come out. I want y'all to check this out right here. This shit finna blow your mind. And I'm gonna show a video after this just to solidify what this book right here say. It say right here. It say the most ancient names for so-called black people are Nehesu or Nubian, Ethiopian, and more. From ancient Egypt, Negro or Negrita from West Africa. All the above are native African words. I bet you Dr. Umar ain't never gonna tell you this. So-called Dr. Umar ain't never gonna show you this receipt. You could tell him I said that. He ain't never gonna show this receipt. From the book, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. You could tag him on here right now. You ain't gonna get no response. You ain't gonna get no response. Guaranteed you ain't gonna get no response. Why you ain't gonna get no response? Because these names right here, Nehesu, Nubian, Moor, Ethiopian, see that? These are all native African words. This nigga be always talking about Africa, Africa, Africa. Then how come you don't use these words to describe so-called Africans? You don't say Moor. You don't say Nubian. You don't say Nehesu. None of them do. Because they all cap. Now look at this right here. What does it say? It said, Niger found its way into Latin. And since the people from that region were dark-skinned, Niger, Nigra, Nigrum came to mean black. See that? It came to mean black. But what does Negro really come? Negro comes from the river Niger. What? Let's go a little bit further. We got a lot of cooking to do. What does it say? It says black and colored like white are, on the other hand, European words. You say what? You say what? You want to tag them all on here right now. Guaranteed they ain't gonna come back with no reply. Guaranteed, because if they do, they getting fried. Deep fried. Let me show y'all something. Because I told y'all I'm gonna show y'all a receipt after I read that, right? It's time to take the gloves off. The gloves gotta come off. See, it's gotta get that real. The gloves gotta come off. All the gloves gotta come off. Let me show you that receipt, what I'm talking about white. White. Watch this hybrid European say what she finna say about white. Listen. Listen to this. Listen to this, Morris. You say you want a receipt? Okay, I'm gonna let the hybrid European give you a receipt. I'm gonna let her give it to you. Hold up. I'm gonna let her give it to you. Talk to him.
White people did not exist before 1681. Again, white people did not exist on planet Earth until 1681. Number two, any claim that...
What? What you say? This is a hybrid European right here telling y'all this.
White people did not exist before 1681. Again, white people did not exist on planet Earth until 1681.
How many of these so-called black educators, they say differently though? Now when you got a hybrid European telling you the actual truth about white and black are political statuses, they ain't got nothing to do with skin complexion. Now you got her telling you right here. Her name is Jacqueline Bartolora. That's her name. Look her up. She be going crazy on it. Check it out.
Two, any claim that this group called white people, any claim that that group is rooted in biology or derived from genes or biology or is innate or is from nature is a lie.
Ooh.
Third, that group is rooted in biology.
What?
Any claim that this group called white people, any claim that that group is rooted in biology or derived from genes or biology or is innate or is from nature is a lie.
Huh?
Third,
What'd you say? Now, how many of these so-called black educators keep running their mouth with this whole, they're white people, we're black people? Now, she's a professor speaking at a college, putting it down. And she just told you a slap in your face. So all y'all out there that keep continuing the misinformation and the brainwashing and the indoctrination, have a look at this hybrid European actually tell you the truth to your face. Do your own research and see if she's talking about, does it qualify as evidence? Huh? Let's see again.
that group is rooted in not exist on planet Earth until 1681. Number two, any claim that this group called white people, any claim that that group is rooted in biology or derived from genes or biology or is innate or is from nature is a lie. Third.
Okay, keep going.
And final point. As a matter of foundational law, actually, let me say it this way. White supremacy has been embedded in the United States of America from its founding as a matter of law. Now, I don't expect you to buy all that, to get all that, to believe all that, at least not now. But my job is to share with you the legal history that proves each of those three claims that I begin with.
So for the ones who out there just thinking like this is just a belief thing and this is just a religion thing and this is, nah, it ain't none of that. I got to bust your bubble open. I got to take the gloves off. So it's time for Moors to take the gloves off and start hitting you right upside your head with real information. Because these sellouts, these so-called black leaders, these people out here carrying on with this narrative about people are crayon colors and white people and black people and brown people, it's all fraud. And the only way it's going to get off the planet, the only way it's going to shift is if you start taking the gloves off and you start telling the truth out here. If you're not telling the truth out here, then you participating in the same genocide generation after generation. Because I got another receipt for you I'm finna hit you upside your head with. Out of this book right here. Just in case you want a receipt. Linguistically, we can easily conclude that the term black is a derivation from Middle English Blake, Old English Blake, High German bla, Latin flagrar, Greek phlegian, and has undergone several transformations, variants, or phrases or phases of morphology into its modern form. Check it out though. With quote unquote black being the offspring of modern English, it indicates to us that quote unquote black was not being used to refer to people prior to the 1100s or 1400s. What? The word black was not being used prior on people prior to the 1100s to the 1400s? Shout out to Houston. Or during the pre-Columbian era? Simply put, the term did not exist. So the term black and white did not exist on the people prior to the 1100s to the 1400s, and thereby cannot have a definitive application to people or a solidified place in the quote unquote context of any spoken languages or written literature prior to pre-Columbian civilization. Damn. So what you gonna do? You gonna continue to keep going with the black and white goofy shit, or you actually gonna do a little research and say, damn, hold up, I've been lied to. I really been lied to out here. I mean, they literally told us nothing that was true. They lied to us about everything. They literally have lied to humanity for generations. What you gonna do about it? What you finna do about it? You gonna continue to participate in the lie? You gonna continue to call people Latinos and Hispanics and black and brown and white people? You gonna continue to do that? Even though she just told you right here what it is with her people.
Or is innate. Any claim that this group called white people, any claim that that group is rooted in biology or derived from genes or biology or is innate or is from nature is a lie.
It's all cap. Now this goes back to all these black educators. They keep talking about white, they say black is an African word. You lying right there, because black is not an African word. It's not a native African word. Black is not a native African word. That's cap. It need to be called out. Take the gloves off. Take the gloves off. Meet me with a dictionary. Meet me with a book that got some receipts in it. I don't want to hear about what you feel. I don't care about what you feel. You shouldn't care about what nobody feel. Just show me the facts. That's all that matter. That's all that matter. It ain't personal. It's just the facts. You telling the facts or you lying out here. That's it. You telling the truth or you capping. Period. Because it says right here, black and colored like white are on the other hand, European words. Are on the other hand, European words. So why this dude out here and why do these so-called black educated sellouts, why they keep telling you that white and black are African words? You notice that these people that keep saying these same retarded statements, that say these same genocidal statements, you notice how they never pull books out? They don't never show no receipts off. All they do is get in front of the camera and just start talking. This all they do. I don't care who you name. If they out here talking about black and white people, they cap. They getting called out. All of them. Because it's the age of Aquarius right now. This shit is airborne. The truth is airborne. It ain't finna be no more people just sitting quiet on the sideline no more. Because now you finna have everybody that knows something, that research something, they finna start getting vocal now. They finna start getting bold now. It ain't finna be nobody just sitting back quiet no more, letting these people out here continue to lie. Generation after generation. See, this is the thing. Not only will they hit you with the black and the white lie, they hit you with the Indian lie. Let's destroy that right now. Yeah, we own that. We own that right now. Check it out. Check this out. Check this out. This right here. When they talk about the so-called Indian and when they talk about that, what they say about the so-called Indian? Okay. I bet you none of these so-called Indians gonna tell you this. Oh, we finna crack their head open right now though. Check this out. India. The word India is in reference to the word indigo, which is a dark blue dye. It's a color. It's not a people. Hold up. Let's go. Then the whole time, if you really think about it, how the hell you out here calling yourself an Indian and you live in a continent called America? How, Sway? What are you doing? Why are you the only one on the planet calling yourself something that you don't even live on? Shit is crazy. Look, then you say this. The Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, south of the Himalayas, formerly sometimes used generally for Asia, quote unquote, since 1947, specifically in reference to the Republic of India, Old English India, Indi, from Latin India, from Greek India, quote, region of the Indus. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does the Americas have does it have a river called Indus? Huh? Does the Americas have a river called Indus? Huh? Like I said, cap. So for them out here talking about, yeah, I'm an Indian. Yeah, you're looking real bad out here now because the truth's starting to come out. It say later used of the region beyond it from Indus. Indus River, also an Indian, from Old Persian, Hindu, the name from the province of Sind, from Sanskrit, Sindhu, river. We talking about a river, all right? Now, let's go a little bit further. It says, spelling change of indigo, 1500s. See how we talking about 1500? See how we talking about time? See how we talking about the alteration of language and time? And they start putting bogus time dates up on things. Black, again, was not referred to people prior to the 1100s to the 1400s. So how you out here in 2024 finna be 25 and beyond, you still calling yourself something that was created 700 years ago in the 1100s? Crazy. Then you talking about, well, I know who I am. What? Yeah. Blue powder obtained from certain plants used as dye. From Spanish indigo, Portuguese indigo, Dutch via Portuguese indigo, all from Latin indicum, indigo. From Greek, all right, you got all that, right? Check it out, check it out. Then it say what? It say, accepting to be Indian, according to the context, can only be viewed in two ways. So if you call yourself an Indian, people gonna look at you two ways. Number one, by accepting to be Indian, you identify yourself with Hindustan or Asia Minor, which is on the east. So when land gets converted back to the heirs of the estate, all of those people claiming to be Indian will be deported to India. You still want to be an Indian? Huh? You still want to be an Indian? Ah, yeah, we want all the smoke. We want all the smoke because so-called India is over here in Asia. So we want all the smoke. So you out here pretending to be an Indian. The only so-called Indians over here, they stay over here in Asia. And when it's time for them to get what's coming back to them, and you not a Hindustani, guess what? You're going to be deported You're going to be deported back over there. So are you an American? You a Moorish American? Or you pretending to be something that you ain't? Huh? Which one you doing? Better figure it out quick. Number 2, by accepting to be Indian, you are accepting to be an artificial person. In other words, found in the United States. What's the United States? Ooh, this is where it get juicy. This is where law come in at. Because if you go to cornelllaw.edu or law.cornell.edu, Cornell Law School, if you go on their website, check it out. What it say? It say United States means a federal corporation. What? Federal corporation? You thought this was a country? No, sir. No, sir. This ain't no country over here. This is a continent made up of countries. Made up of countries. You be like, how is this a continent over here made up of countries? Easy. Just think about it. Every other landmass on the planet has countries inside of a continent. Right? Okay. Now, short and sweet to the point, then you would say, how come all these other places down here in South America, all these are known as countries? All over here is countries. But when you get to North America, everything switch up. How does that happen? How is South America, how do all these be countries? How's all these countries, but when you get up here past Central America, past Mexico, everything switch up and it's turned into states? How does that happen? How does that happen? How does zip codes and all this stuff start happening up here in North America? See, everything above Mexico, everything below Mexico, it's all how it's supposed to be. It's all countries. Everybody got a nationality. Everybody over here got a nationality. You know somebody Cuban because they're going to tell you they're Cuban. You know somebody Haitian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Jamaican. You know they from Trinidad, Tobago. They going Grenada. They going to tell you this is what it is. This is what I am. This is where I'm from. I'm from Guyana. This is where I'm from. This is what it is. I'm from Barbados. I'm from the Bahamas. That's what it is. This is all they not confused about what landmass they come from. But when you get up here past Mexico, you get to North America. That's when the craziness start. Yeah, that's when the confusion start. Cause you like, wait a minute, what? Indian, Pan-African, Native American, what? Hold up. Let's go back to this real quick about the so-called Indians and whatnot. Okay, about the so-called Indians. Okay, so when somebody says that they're an Indian, the word inhabitant is chosen over resident. But I need to mention that a corporation is considered an inhabitant. What is the United States again? What is the United States again? The United States is a federal corporation. So if you're saying that you are a U.S. citizen, you're committing perjury and fraud against yourself. Because Moorish Americans can never be U.S. citizens. Bing bong. I bet you none of these black leaders gonna tell you that. They ain't gonna tell you that. Do you notice how people who identify as Moorish Americans, there's no confusion about how we identify? This is something that's interesting. People that identify as crayon colors, you celebrate Thanksgiving, but you say they killed the Indians. You celebrate Thanksgiving. You just did. Had a whole plate of food. You had plates of food. You done went from crib, house to house, maxing food from wherever you went to, right? Then you say, all right. Then you say, well, I don't celebrate that. But then you say you a Pan-African. Well, I ain't a Pan-African. I'm a American Indian. How are you American and then you saying you Indian at the same time? That's the same thing as an African American. It don't exist. The same thing as a European American. It don't exist. What isn't, you know what's crazy? How come they don't have nothing called European American? Everybody else, they got a classification. They got Italian American, Chinese American, Russian American, etc., etc. Why don't they have a classification called European American? Because that'll blow the spot up. Because ain't no such thing as none of them. None of them have a national name here in the Americas. In order to be an American, you have to be jus sanguinis. That means you got to be connected from your grandmama, your great-grandmama, your great-great-grandmama, mama, and all them. And your fathers. So if you not plugged into that, it don't matter if you was born in America or not. These black educators, so-called black educators, black leaders, they never gonna tell you that because they don't deal with law. They deal with emotions. They deal with how they feel. That's what they do. They're agents put in place to give people a false sense of identity and give people constructed arguments that go nowhere. You just gonna keep arguing, ring around the rosy. You don't like me because of my skin complexion. It's racism. It's white supremacy. Now, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as white people. So how can a crayon color be supreme? Like, what are you talking about? When did crayon colors when was crayon colors ever alive? Now, what you mean? You see how silly that whole conversation is? When did crayon colors become alive to start arguing with something? It's silly. It's actually denationalization. Look, then you go here. Let's go a little further. What is that? This we got to get right here. Don't forget what old girl talking about. Hold up. Don't forget what she talking about now.
Not exist.
Hold up. Don't forget what she talking about now.
White people did not exist before 1681.
Hold up. What?
Again, white people did not exist on planet Earth until 1681.
Okay.
Now,
Don't forget that now. Nah. Don't forget that. She's an actual professor. Don't forget. See, what's interesting is the school system has indoctrinated us so much that we would rather argue against the truth than to do the research to find out if it's true or not. We believe the lie rather than saying, let me do the research and just find out real quick what it is. And you can do the research just by doing this. Let me show you how quick and easy the research could be. All right. Let me show you how quick the research could be. The English language that we use and speak with every day. We function with this language every day. In this language, they have something called the grammatical key. The 8 parts of speech. The 8 parts of speech consist of these 2 things that we have lost focus and touch with. Adjectives describe or modify the noun. All right. Crayon colors are not nouns. They're adjectives. They describe something like this book is blue. This speaker is black. The pages in this book are white. Do you understand? They're objects. They're not alive. What our people do is we look at ourselves because of the conditioning and the indoctrination and the mental brainwashing. We look at ourselves and misidentify as adjectives. Because your mama said it, your father said it, your grandmama said it, your grandfather said it, your friends say it, the TV say it, the movies say it. So it's a steady programming. It's programming. This is what it is. You hear it every day. You see it every day. It's mental programming. It's manipulation. This is why it's so dangerous. All right. Human beings can never be identified properly as an adjective. It's a violation of language. Human beings and people are nouns. Show you what I mean real quick. Show you what I mean real quick. This is why nationality is the order of the day. Let me show you what I mean real quick. If you look up the word noun, see that? Any of a class of words used as the names of persons, places, things, qualities, events, etc. The spell has been to get our people to do this right here. I'm gonna show y'all right now because you gotta stop, right? You gotta stop right now. You gotta stop it. You have to. It's up to you to stop it. It's up to you. Everybody that I know from so-called Africa over here, everybody that I personally know over here from Africa, they don't just say I'm African. They tell you what country they come from in Africa. Everybody over here tells you where they come from in Africa. They're Angolian, all right? They're Sudanese, they're Egyptian, they're Libyan, they're Algerian. You understand? They're Mauritanian, etc., etc. So our people have been programmed over here in North America to misidentify as an identity that we can never be. We can never be a crayon color. We can never be black. Europeans can never be white. You want a receipt on that? If you want the receipt on it, just watch. Just watch.
Number two, any claim that this group called white people, any claim that that group is rooted in biology or derived from genes or biology or is innate or is from nature is a lie. Third and final point.
Huh? Now you might say, why? Why is the game going on? The game is going on because you have people, you have a collective conglomerate that is dark. You have truth and you have falsehood. The people that choose to go dark, I'm not talking about the color dark. I'm talking about the mentality, the spirit, the heart. Their energy is centered and focused on control. They don't care about money. Only thing they care about is harvesting energy from human beings for total control. I'm talking about a totalitarianism type of mentality. This is what this dark energy is about. So you have light workers and you have dark workers. That's it. That's all. They don't care about money. People think they care about money. They can print as much fiat as they want to. They could print that up all day. They don't care about that. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about material possessions. They don't care about none of that. Case in point, right? Like I was doing a study with my children. I'm doing teaching my babies and whatnot. So we in class and scripture came up. People out there that read the Bible, the Quran, it's all love. You supposed to read them all the books because they are science books, right? So I'm doing a study with my babies and we came across the, the test. So Yahushua, he was tested by so-called Satan. He was tested and he said, Satan told him man, to paraphrase it, he man, look here, you the son of God, right? So go ahead and just jump off. Before you jump off and that the angel's gonna come save you. Look, before you do that, I could give you whatever you want. Whatever you looking for, I could give you paradise on earth. I could give you all the gold, the jewels, the riches. I could give you whatever you want. Just name whatever you want. I could give it to you, right? So I was telling my children, I said, you see how he gave him an offer. The offer was give you whatever you want. Any material you want, all the luxury you want, all the opulence that you want, whatever fantasies that you want, your riches, whatever, I'll give it to you. This is Satan talking to Yahushua, right? So Yahushua what good is it to gain the world and lose your soul? So you gain all this material wealth. You gain this opulence and this sustenance. You gain all this wealth, material. It's not feeding the spirit. It's not feeding your heart though. So this is how people end up having everything they ever wanted, material wise. They end up, I've seen a clip of Will Smith talking about this. He was like, man, after I had all the money and I bought all this stuff and I had everything that I wanted, I still was empty. See, that's the trick, to get people to be stuck in what's green on the other side of the grass. You think because these people got all these riches, you think, we all have been programmed to think like, it's greener on the other side of the grass. It's greener over there than it is over here. How do we really know what these people that got all this wealth and all this material, how do we truly know that they are really happy? How do you know? How do you know? You don't know. They could look like they up and they happy and they kicking it. They doing what they doing. They doing what they want to do. How do we really know they not in an invisible cage? They could be a slave to their own agreements. So look at this. Stay true, man. Stay true. So you talking about breaking generational curses? How about breaking this curse right here? I want y'all to look at this word right here called black amour. Just look at this word. We talking about language right now. It says a Negro, a dark-skinned person. Now, what the so-called colonizers did was they removed the word more and they kept the word black as an adjective misidentity for our people. This is why it's so hard for our people to let this word go. Because it's been going on for generations. Since the 1100s. It's been going on since the 1100s to the 1400s. This is why it's hard for so many of our people to let go of black. Because they dropped more and they kept black. Black describes the more. Hence the term dark-skinned person. Do you understand? This is why it's so difficult for our people to let go of black. Because we've been programmed to think saying that you're black is a beautiful, it is a empowering type thing. It's misidentity. It's denationalization. It's genocide. It's what it is. It's actually genocide. It's a genocidal term. It's not something to play with. You know what I'm saying? So, whole time, look. Let me show you this. Let's go right here. Let's go right here to it. Where you at? Let's go right here. Check this video out.
Black folks
look,
are very reactive rather than proactive, which means that if this individual is calling himself white, we're going to react and call ourselves black because we're the opposite. Not really understanding that we're not exactly taking a step in the right direction, because now, as I like to say, given all the linguistic and cultural baggage of black, you are trying to push an elephant uphill on roller skates. You're trying to turn a negative into a positive when there's a clean, pure stream nearby to draw from. If you're referring to complexion, in fact, there's a famous scene in the movie Cry Freedom about the life of Steve Biko.
check it out.
The presumption is that this event actually occurred. If it didn't, it still made sense in terms of the screenwriters and Richard Attenborough putting it into the film. And that is, Steve Biko was in court. He's charged with basically, being seen as a threat to the apartheid system, and he was banned. So he's in court talking to the European judge, the Boer British judge. And the judge says to him,
Why call yourselves black? I mean, you people are more brown than black.
And Biko says,
why do you call yourselves white? You people are more pink than white.
Uh-huh.
and the judge goes,
Precisely.
but there's no deeper unpacking of what just occurred. And it raises an important question about systems of oppression. Why did Europeans decide to designate themselves as white? More specifically, English-speaking Europeans, because the term white is an English term. One, you know why they chose the term.
Hold up, cross-reference.
Europeans.
Hold up, cross-reference. Back to the book, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, right? You're not going to see these so-called black educators. They not even going to dive in. They not even going to step a foot into this type of information because they know once they do, they caught. Once they step into this information and they start talking, they gonna be exposed for the frauds that they is, talking this black and white nonsense. From the book, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. And what you just heard Demore say up here. He said white is a European term, right? Black and colored like white are, on the other hand, European words. Huh? I just want to give you that receipt right there. Huh? Ethiopian and Moor were popularly used to describe so-called blacks until the 1500s. Let's continue.
The term white is an English term. One, you know why they chose the term. Then you know what they sought to gain by it.
Right.
When you also see that they leveled the term black against us, Asiatics, Africans, Asians, then you know what they sought to gain by imposing that on us.
Now, what does that say? What does that say right there? If you do the literature of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he says, will you define the word black? White? No, define the word white. It says white means purity. Purity means God. And God means the ruler of the land. This is from the Quran Questions for Moorish Americans. Peace be upon the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who said, I took the covers off all the secret organizations. None of these so-called black leaders, black educators, none of these people dive or dare to step into this information publicly. They'll know about it privately, but they not going to talk about it publicly, because if they do, they know their careers is over with, because they can't eat off the black victimhood narrative no more. They can't eat off the white supremacy narrative no more. They can't eat off, well, it's racism. They can't eat like that no more, because now you know and I know what the truth is. This is why they don't talk about the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and they don't talk about none of these nationality issues. They don't talk about none of that because they not gonna eat no more, because they know the game is up. Let's go. Yeah, tell them I said that.
But why the need to fixate on black? There's the work of a Harvard psychologist who I believe is of East Indian ancestry. Her name is Dr. Banerjee. And implied bias or biases that exist. She recognizes what are often called mind bug, or in fact, she coined the term mind bugs, which are culturally imposed perceptions of reality. And the dominant perception of reality for those of us who speak the English language is when you say black or use black, its dominant use is negative. Black magic, black night, black death, right? And to try to overcome that is very difficult. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a Harvard faculty member, psychologist, prominent psychologist, who's pointing this out. And she calls them the mind bugs. Now, part of what people can do, you could say, well, you need to get people to stop thinking of black as something negative. Okay, that's all right. But in the context of Do you want to fight that battle? Or more importantly, should you be fighting that battle? Because you're still reducing yourself again to your pigment.
Right.
And you're not looking at yourself in the context of a larger history. And if you want to, like I said, if you want to speak of we as highly melanated people, or we as NUC, or we as I would say, people of predominant African ancestry, that makes more sense to me. I'm just saying. So when I looked at what Drew Ali was trying to convey, and did convey, obviously, to those who heard what he was saying, back in the early teens and 1920s in particular, that you are not black, you are not Negro, you are not colored. Just on a psychological level, I can see the value. I haven't even gotten into what the value and importance of what he was saying by having folks reject calling themselves Negro, black, or colored, because that's a whole nother issue. I just got into the psychology of it, right? That's why people, confuse. I've often thought of this. You have a child reading about the Black Knight and the Black Death and the Black Plague, and then the child goes, "Oh, and I'm a black child."
Do you see the problem? Do you see the problem? But we talking about problems and we talking about solutions. Problems and solutions. When you look at history, culture, you look at where you came from, you look at who you are, then you start connecting pieces on where you come from and what your history is of your people. Just like this right here. Where is that? I don't even know where it's at right now, but I'm going to show you this right here. The fez and the graduation cap and gown. Did you know that this was related? This is ancient. This is modern. This is not coincidence. The fez is the ancient and modern national headdress of the Moors. The fez is a brimless headdress, most commonly produced in scarlet red with an ebony black tassel. Talking about this. Ancient. The red fez is matched by the red field displayed in the Moorish national standard flag, which is behind me, which is here. Then you come back and you say, the fez is also produced in black, white, and other color variations, indicating other meanings, social order positions. When you get your graduation cap and gown, they're saying that you are graduating, you're going to the next grade level, you're leveling up. That is the same thing as this in ancient times. In ancient times, when you got a fez, that was an indication of your knowledge. Your knowledge base has leveled up. Now you're not in the same position as you were as a so-called black man, black woman, person of color. You not Negro, black, or colored. So your mentality has shifted to your higher self with Allah. This right here is what you would say is a ceremonial thing in modern times. That you get your cap and your gown and you graduate and you go up to the next grade level. Modern, ancient. Modern, ancient. And you throw your cap 180 degrees where? Into the ethers. You're throwing it up. Why do you think at the end of the graduation, they throw their graduation cap in the sky? It's an indication of leveling up mentally, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Modern, ancient. Get the picture? Now, we come right over here. Have you ever heard of this guy right here? From the book, More Volume 1 and 2. If you get this book, you turn to page 7, you will see a picture of Dred Scott. Who was Dred Scott? Who was Dred Scott? He had one of the most powerful Supreme Court cases ever. This guy right here. Dred Scott. What do I mean by that? Watch this. Let's do it in real time. Let's just do it in real time. Hold up. We're going to do it in real time. I want y'all, if you can, look up the Dred Scott decision. We're going to do it right now. Check it out. Let's do it in real time. It's each one teach one over here. Do it in real time. Check it out. The Dred Scott decision. Oh, now you don't want not.
According to Wikipedia, Dred Scott versus Sanford, 60 U.S. 393, was a landmark decision of the United States Supreme Court that held the U.S. Constitution did not extend American citizenship to people of Black African descent, and therefore they could not enjoy the rights and privileges the Constitution conferred upon American citizens.
Did you hear that? I'll let Siri talk to you. See that? Dred Scott versus Sanford was a landmark decision from the Supreme Court held by the Constitution. American citizenship does not extend to the so-called black man or black woman. So therefore, you don't have citizenship if you misidentify as a U.S. citizen, as a so-called black person, a colored person. This is how our people continue to stay in the trap as an Indian, Native American, American Indian, person of color, Pan-African. Once you agree to be any of them terms that I just named, you don't have rights. You have privileges that can be given and taken away. And Dred Scott, as you see, landed himself in the Supreme Court. And they cooked up something called this right here. You need to see a receipt. You need to see a receipt, Morris. Hold up. You need to see a receipt. You need to see a receipt. Oh yeah. Speaking of receipts, let me just show you this receipt real quick. Speaking of receipts, let me show you this one real quick. Let me bust your head with this one real quick. Y'all out there misidentifying as Indians or whatnot, still thinking you talking about something that's strong. Let me let you know something real quick from law. Indian tribe. So if you say you an Indian and you part of an Indian tribe, guess what? What it means in law ain't what you think in your head. In law, it says an Indian tribe is a separate and distinct community or body of the Aboriginal Indian race of man, check it out, found in the United States. Again, what is the United States known as? What is the United States known as again? These ain't my words. The United States is a federal corporation. This is why the so-called Indians was removed from the location that they stayed on. Because Indians don't have rights, just like so-called black people. Just like so-called Latinos, just like so-called Hispanics and Pan-Africans and RBG, whatever else name you want to come up with. Because it's not a nationality. The United States tricked the indigenous people, and you had sellouts who agreed to be a part of the United States, the federal corporation. That is the sellout. That's the sellout. The people that's agreeing to be black, colored, Native American, American Indians, Pan-Africans, people of color, that's the sellout. Calling Europeans white people, that is the sellout. The end game is to stop misidentifying yourself as a damn crayon color. You can never be black. Do you understand? You can never be black. This is an object. It's an adjective. Black is describing this. This is not alive. It's a JVC speaker. You can never be black. Never. Europeans can never be white. This is a piece of paper. It's not alive. This is what's spooky about what's outside. Because you got highly educated people who will argue you down that Europeans are white people and they themselves are black people. They will argue you down and be loud and wrong at the same time. But you can't tell them that though. Because if you just look up this word right here, look. If you just look up this word right here, just look at this word. Is anything about this word black wholesome, beautiful? Is anything uplifting about the definition? The definition. So if you say that you are black, this is what you're associating yourself with. Dirty, grimy, without any light, dismal, gloomy, as a black day, black news, evil, wicked. Why would you want to associate yourself with these word definitions? I mean, that's what it means. You could think whatever you want to think in your head, but in reality, in the real world, it don't mean what you're trying to make it mean in your head. It just don't. It just don't. It doesn't mean what you want to do. You're trying to make something mean what you want. And this is cognitive dissonance. And again, black is an adjective. It's not a people. Then when you go right over here and you show somebody, hey, check this out. When you show somebody like, hey, this thing applies to white too. There are no white people. There's no white people out here. White is a status. Black is a status in law. It's a legal status. All right. White is an adjective too. You see what it says? Reflecting light. See? That's what it says. Reflecting light. But then hybrid Europeans, they'll be like, oh, it's for the Caucasian people. How could it be for the Caucasian people when you got hybrid Europeans saying that they not white people? How? How could it apply to them if hybrid Europeans is out here saying they ain't white? How could it apply to them? Look, it's right here.
As a matter of foundational law.
It's right here, man. You can look up this video yourself. It's a European saying this.
White people did not exist before 1681. Again, white people did not exist on planet Earth until 1681. Now,
you see that? Now, when you hear a pale-skinned European tell you what she just told you, and you don't do no research, and you saying, man, whatever. I'm gonna keep calling them white people. How insane do that make you? How insane do that make you? So you got to stop the victim thing. See, it's the victim mentality that keep our people in the position that we in. It's self-hatred. It's a lack of information. Our people are highly misinformed, but got all the opinions in the world. Don't want to look up nothing, but you got opinions about everything. It's time to break that now, man. That shit is over with now. All the lies and all that with these so-called black educators, they lying out here. It's over with for them, G. Just stay tuned. It's over with for these niggas out here talking about black people and white people. It's over with for them. Just don't get this information too late. And you keep telling your children that they black and to call these people white, you miseducating another generation. The crazy part is the other generation coming from you. That's the crazy part. So these people out here talking about they're an Indian. So that means that you were found in the United States. If we looked up something from this dude, Christopher Columbus, this book right here, Africans and Native Americans, all right? Look at this. This shit finna blow your mind. It say Africans crossing the Atlantic before Columbus, right? Oh yeah. Just a little side note. Just a little side note for people out here thinking that Columbus, or whatever you thinking about Columbus or thought about Columbus, Columbus was a Portuguese Moor named Salvatore Ferdinand Zarco. That's his real name. See that? That's his real name. His name wasn't Christopher Columbus. It was Salvatore Ferdinand Zarco. And many of the European monarchs in Europe were also Negros who came to America as they were being pushed out of Europe by hybrid European Catholics. So so-called Columbus, he really was a Moor from Europe. See that? He was not a pale skin. He was not one of these people. That's been another lie. They have inverted history and all of the great accomplishments and whatnot that Moors did. Pale skinned Europeans will try to claim them as if they did it. No, sir. No, sir. Columbus was dark skinned. Columbus wasn't no pale skinned person. Columbus was dark skinned. Just like the kings and queens that was out there in Europe over there. They was not pale skinned people. They was not like that. You know what I'm saying? Ferdinand and all that, Isabella, they was not pale skins. No, sir. They was all dark skinned. They was all copper complexion, olive complexion Moors. So that's just a little side note. But where it get juicy at is right here. Columbus was also aware that Africans may well have utilized ocean currents to navigate to the Americas. His 1498 voyage specifically used the southern route from the Cabo Verde Islands to Trinidad. An easy crossing traveled consistently thereafter by Spaniards, Portuguese, Britons, and others. Remember we talking about he's from Europe? Britons, Portuguese, and Spaniards. But he was a Moor though. All right. But check it out. Check it out. It say what? It say, in short, the Portuguese had found boats, canoas, which left from West Africa to navigate to the west with merchandise. In the Gulf of Paria, the Paria area near Trinidad, Columbus found that the Americans, thus he saw, watch this. When they talk about Moors wasn't in the Americas, right? When they say Moors wasn't in the Americas, right? This is straight from Columbus. He says, thus he saw well-made, multicolored scarves and sashes, identical with those of Sierra Leone, but because of the distance, he thought that the two peoples ought not to be in communication. Later, Columbus stated that each American wore scarves which resembled almazers, Moorish sashes, one for the head and one for the rest of the body. Ooh, hold on. You need a receipt. Hold up. One for the head, and one for the body. So you talking about something like this? Hold up. You talking about something like this? Wait. Hold up. You talking about something that resembles something like this? Hold up. Let's get a good one. We got a good picture. We got a good one. I'm gonna give y'all a good one. We got a good one, real quick. I can't find a good one right now. Hold up. Talking about this? Bing bong. You talking about something like this? You talking about something like this? So when you say Christopher Columbus said he came to the Americas and he said each American wore scarves which resembled almazers, Moorish sashes, one for the head and one for the rest of the body. Nonetheless, one of Columbus' motives in examining the area around Trinidad. What? So Trinidad, Tobago, the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamrock, Cuba, all of these islands, Grenada, all these islands, Dominica, St. Lucia, all these islands, you telling me that they was dressed like this? They was dressed like this? And Columbus said that this is Moorish. So when you see, you need some more receipts, huh? You need some more receipts, huh? So when you see something like this, what you say then? What you say then? When you start seeing stuff like this, what you gonna say now? What you gonna say now? When you start seeing stuff like this, what you gonna say now? When you start seeing images, I mean, that's straight from Columbus's journal. What he saw. The book is right here. They not Indians over here. He says Moorish scarves from head to toe. Moorish scarves. So these ain't Indians over here. These Moors over here. Where? In the Americas. Ding, 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 ding. I know. If you a believer, this might be hurting your feelings. This might be hurting your feelings right now if you're a believer. But if you into truth and you into knowledge and you into uplifting our people, okay, well, you should be welcoming in this. I don't want you to take my word on nothing. I want you to look it up. That's why I show these books off. Look it up yourself. Take time out of your day or your night. Look it up yourself. You could do it with your babies. So you can break general curses, not only with yourself, but with your babies, though. So they not out here calling Europeans white people, even though you got a hybrid European telling you right here that Europeans did not exist.
1681.
Listen, you got them out here telling you that they not white people. Oh, okay. Come on.
White people did not exist before 1681.
Talk to them.
Again, white people did not exist on planet Earth until 1681.
Talk to them.
Number two, any claim that this group called white people, any claim that group is rooted in biology or derived from genes or biology or is innate or is from nature is a lie.
Cook 'em. Jacqueline Batala. Batalora. She out here cooking. So when you see all these different receipts in your face, these people that's out here talking about black people and white people and Indians and Pan-Africans and Native Americans, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Where's the Indian flag at? Where's the national flag for Indians at? Where's the national flag for white people at? Where's the national flag for so-called black people at? And so-called white people at? Where's your national flag, Pan-African? You don't have one. RBG, you don't have one. You don't have none of that. It's no brown national flag. Crayons are adjectives. They're not people. Look at this right here. Oh, this is not a national flag. This is a Pan-African banner. It's not even associated with any African nation on earth. Don't nobody over here recognize this? Don't nobody over here recognize this. It's nobody in the world that recognizes this in Africa, that recognizes this, that's over here. Ain't gonna stand up and say, don't matter how Dr. Umar, how many times he gonna keep saying Pan-Africa, no African nation recognizes this as a national flag of Africa. Because anybody over here in Libya, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, Mali, etc., Ivory Coast, they don't recognize anybody out here talking about they Pan-African. Because it's not a real thing. It's not a real place. I tell you what is a real place, though. Morocco is a real place. And the first Morocco, according to the U.S. Congress, According to them and tons of other receipts, it says Morocco is over here first. There's a treaty called the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. But then you got something like this. Look at this. Hey, look at this. Social engineering, such as Pan-Africanism, has us making claims to solely the continent of modern Africa, while conditioning us to think that so-called America is the wilderness which we were brought to. Facts are both continents were once connected. Those are the facts. Both continents were connected. Those are the facts. These are the breaks. Those are the facts. I mean, where you want to go? All around the world, you're going to find Tartarian and Moorish history, because the Tartarians are Moors. They're just ancient Moors. Moabites, Canaanites, Hamathites, Cushites, Amorites, Hittites. Where you want to go? Where you want to go? We are aboriginal and indigenous to so-called America and all the adjoining island territories. While we solely focus on Africa as the motherland, we continue to neglect and abandon our rightful claims to our estate here in so-called America. We should be making claims to both continents. We should be representing both continent and through symbology. You have always been home. The European colonization of geography and information has created ignorance. That's what's happening. It's social engineered ignorance. That's what's been happening. That's what's been happening. So when you see Moors all around the globe dripped up, wearing gold, dripped up like this right here. This right here. To the distinguished scholar, the late Professor Ferdinand von Hostetter, we owe a debt of gratitude for the preservation of the unique specimen of ancient Mexican featherwork, which will be exhibited eventually as one of the gems of the rich ethnological collection in the early erected Imperial Museum of Natural History in Vienna, 1878. We talking about time traveling. What does he say? He say, number 3, a Mexican headdress about 3 foot in height, composed of magnificent green feathers with golden hued lustre and of colored bands of featherwork, studded with small plates of gold. This specimen was termed in the inventory of 1596, quote unquote, a Moorish hat. More receipts? More receipts? You got more receipts? Fam, you just got more receipts like that? Yeah. We got more receipts. Yeah, we got more receipts. Peace and love to all y'all critical thinkers that's out there. All y'all that ain't taking that BS no more from this nonsense victimization mentality, we ain't going for that shit no more. That shit dead. It's over with for that. Now you see how you was talking about the golden feathers. You see that, right? Now you might need a picture. You need a picture? You need a picture? No problemo. Magnificent creations of fragile featherwork. Montezuma's palace. Montezuma wore this. See that? Montezuma's headdress are woven into cloth and are set off by a brilliant blue fringe of cotinga feathers by bands of tiny gold plaques. Didn't we just read that? Look at the intricacy of this detailed work right here. They put real gold in here. You had to be royalty to wear this. And it just so happened to be a fez in the center. A fez in the center. Ancient and modern national headdress. This is ancient. This is modern. You got two kinds of people out here. You got people that do positive. You got people that do negative. Just because they got affairs on, that don't mean they upright, independent, and honorable. It don't mean that. You got to look at their words and their actions. Just because they talking like they are more, that don't mean they upright and honorable. That don't mean nothing. What are their deeds and actions? Islam. That's what matter. All that other stuff don't matter. They can say whatever they want to say. But if you looking out through history, all you got to do is look at something that's carved in bronze. These are carved in bronze. These are carved in stone. You show me something older than this right here, carved in stone, carved in gold, carved in bronze, carved in jade. You show me something that's older than this. Show me something older than this. That's on the Egyptian pyramids and temples. Islam. Show me something older than this right here. Phoenician statues showing Phoenicians wearing the fez or hemmen. Show me something older than this. Show it to me right now. Show me something that's older than this right here. Huh? Show it to me. Show me something older than this. Ancient Moors known as the Assyrians, the Cushites wearing the fez. Show me something older than that. Show it to me. What you got? Show me your receipts. You got some? Or you just talking? Oh, okay. Show me something older than this right here. Show it to me. Statues of the ancient Moors called Hittites, Canaanites, and the inhabitants of Cyprus. Notice that they are all wearing the fez. Noble Drew Ali stated the ancient Canaanites, Moabites, Hammatites, Cushites, Hittites, etc. were all ancestors of the inhabitants of Northwest Africa, including the Americas, dominions of Omexum. Bing bong. Bing bong. You show me something older than this, though. I mean, this over here with Montezuma now. Montezuma was Mexican. How does he have a fez on? Because Mexicans are Moors. That's how. This is a worldwide movement. Worldwide. Worldwide? Yes. Worldwide. And speaking of that, worldwide movement, what they'll do is they'll put pale-skinned Europeans on our pictures, wearing our fezzes, wearing our crowns to make it look like they the ones that was OGs. Look like they the ones that brought this history out. It's cap. They ain't the ones that was bringing out this kind of drip. Imagine that. They ain't the ones that was bringing this drip out. What you mean? They ain't the ones that was rocking this? You crazy? They ain't the ones that was doing that? We the ones that was doing that. Did you know that these Olmec heads right here, do you know that these things weigh between 5 and 20 tons, 50 tons? Question, how did these Olmec heads get over here in the Americas and it look like your uncle? It look like your father. It look like you know what I'm saying? It look like somebody you related to. How did these right here get over in the Americas? How, Sway? How'd they get over here? If you was brought over here, according to their story, you was brought over here chained up, your ancestors were slaves, yada, yada, yada. How did these get over here? You think they had wooden ships that was able to carry something that weighed 6 to 50 tons? Yo, man, stop playing with your life. The Olmec colossal heads are stone representations of human heads, sculpted from large basalt boulders. The only one that I know about that was talking about the basalt heads is Noble Drew Ali, the prophet. He's the only one that I know that was talking about that. I mean, what you gonna do? You gonna argue with royalty or Montezuma? You gonna argue with that? Islam, or you gonna argue with that? So you gonna argue with something that's dripped up in gold fringes. I'm talking about tiny gold plaques on it. And guess what? That bird that they talking about, What's that bird? What's that bird? The rare, greatly coveted Quetzal bird. Let's look at something real quick. You know what? Let's just do it in real time. Let's do it in real time real quick. Let's just do it in real time. Check it out. Let's do it in real time. Now, you see this right here, right? How the Dred Scott decision was talking about so-called black people. They had no rights and they had privileges, right? Hold up, one more time. Keep that bird in mind, though. The Dred Scott decision. Listen. Oh, now you ain't talking. You ain't talking now? Siri? You ain't talking now? Hold up. The Dred Scott decision.
According to Wikipedia, Dred Scott versus Sanford, 60 U.S. 393, was a land. According to Wikipedia, Dred Scott versus Sanford, 60 U.S. 393, was a landmark decision of the United States Supreme Court that held the U.S. Constitution did not extend American citizenship to people of Black African descent, and therefore they could not enjoy the rights and privileges the Constitution conferred upon American citizens.
So Dred Scott, if you don't know the story, Dred Scott was allegedly a freed slave, but he identified as a black man. So his court case was taken from the lower courts all the way to the tippy top, which is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that since they didn't put it like this, but this is what it really is. Since he still identified as Scott, a black man, and not a free national name, a L, a Bay, a Day, a Al, or Ali, then he was Christian property. So he was under what's known in law as the Christian Black Codes, which still are fully functional today. You identify as black man, black woman, you're in the Christian Black Codes right now. You're in there right now. You might think like, hell no, ain't no damn Christian Black Codes operating today. You don't think so? But I told y'all real quick though, keep that bird in mind. That bird I'm talking about, the Quetzal, keep that bird in mind. Hold on, where you at? The Quetzal bird. Hold up. I don't even know if I'm saying the name right of this bird. Hold up. Let's go back. Quetzal bird. Okay. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. Nah. You see this right here? How raw that look? See how raw that look, right? These feathers is from real live birds though. Now, a Mexican Moor named Montezuma, a royal headdress is what he was wearing on his crown, his crown. Royalty, right? You got to be royalty to wear the fez like that. And this is the bird. Ooh, that's the bird. That's the real life bird right there. That's what it really looked like. You know what I'm saying? See that? That bird look cold. Now imagine them taking the feathers off this bird and constructing something beautiful like this. And the ones that could wear stuff like this was royalty. Was royalty. Receipts. 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 See that? The headdress. See that? See, the headdress. And as you see what Christopher Columbus said right there, what'd he say? He said multicolored scarves and sashes. Later, Columbus stated that each American wore scarves which resembled almazers, Moorish sashes, one for the head and one for the rest of the body. Just like Noble Drew Ali dripped up right here in the picture with the feather on top. Ah, Islam with the feather on top. The sashes. So when you see 19 Keys and all the rest of them trying to emulate the Prophet Noble Drew Ali with the sash on them, you can't steal the drip. Because Noble Drew Ali was on the scene in 1913. You can't steal the drip. You can't copy the drip and be rocking right if your heart and your mind and your words is on black. You in dishonor. You can only wear something like this if you're honorable. Just like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You know what I'm saying? Time traveler. Ancient and modern. Time traveler. Ancient and modern. Hold up. Hold up. We got something for y'all though. Hold up. We got something for y'all though. Hold up. We got something for you though. Hold up. We got something for you though. Hold up. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere now. Hold up. Don't go nowhere now. Don't go nowhere. Hold on. I'm going to show you something. Don't go nowhere.
Or day.
Don't go nowhere.
One day. Or day one.
What you going to do?
One day. Or day one.
That's really what it's like.
One day.
This is what it's really like. All these people, they lined up for people who won't change. All these people lined up for that. Look at the line for the people who want to change, though. That part. You got all them people lined up, people that won't change, but you got no people in line for the people who want to change. They want stuff to change around them. They don't want to change themselves by changing their mindset. Everything is mental. You don't want to change your mindset. It ain't going to matter what you change around you because you the one that got to live your mind out. You got to live your life out. You see that? So people they want change. They want things to change. They want somebody to make change so they can be comfortable, but they don't want to do what's uncomfortable and have to change within themselves. Bing bong. You don't want to change within yourself. You don't want to change yourself, do you? You don't want to change yourself? That's where that's where the change happened at. You got to be willing to change yourself. What you think like. Let's go. Let's just go right here. Talk to him. I'm going to let the Moor talk to you.
Part of the story for me is what allowed me to accept the Moorish part of the story for me is what allowed me to accept everybody. You understand? Because I'm not set tripping on that. Because in that, like I said, it had to be something first. And then it became that. So up until, like I said, 1621, it was Moorish or Moors or ancient Mauritanians or whatever. Then after 1621, which is really 621, then it starts to change, becomes Indian. Then after a certain time, it changes again, becomes Negro. Then after a while, it changes certain again. It becomes black. Then it changes something again, becomes niggas. You understand? Because in order for them to maintain control of the areas in which we still have dominion on paper, based on all of these treaties and all of these other things, they have to cloud the title. If you know anything about law or real estate, when the title is clouded, the property cannot be lawfully transitioned to its rightful owners.
Facts.
So if I can get you to identify with something that I've created for you, And you accept that. Now I own the copyright that you are accepting. And now the real shit that I've been hiding from you, I can still hold on to because you haven't reached the age of majority yet to know who you really are and who it was left.
Facts. And just in case, yeah, that was, brother, if you ain't familiar with, that's one of the giants. That's a seer the Duke of Tears. That's one of the giants out here. Peace be upon him. Him and his fam. Just in case you want another receipt, though, how about House Joint Resolution number 75? Just in case you like, nah, Kush, man, you just talking opinion and you just telling us about what you feel. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, I'm telling you what I feel. House Joint Resolution, April 17th, 1933. Many sons and daughters of that proud and handsome race which inspired the architecture of Northern Africa and carried into Spain the influence of its artistic temperaments, have become citizens of this nation. In the city of Philadelphia, there exists a Moorish American society made up of Moors who have found here the end of their quest for a home, and of the children of those who journeyed here from the plains of Morocco. They talking about the Morocco over there and over here. Just like Noble Drew Ali lined out when he wrote the National Mission Statement. See that? It says what? These Moorish Americans have since being here missed the use of the titles and name annexations that were so familiar at home, and which are used in accordance with the doctrines of the religious faith to which they are adherents. Therefore be it resolved that this house commends the Moorish American Society of Philadelphia for the efficient service it has rendered the nation in bringing about a speedy and thorough Americanization of these former Moors, and that in accordance with the fullest right of religious independence guaranteed every citizen, we recognize also the right of these people to use the name affixes El or Ali or Bey or Day or Al or any other prefix or suffix to which they have herefore been accustomed to use, or which they may have hereafter acquired the right to use. This is your right. It's your right to use El, Ali, Bey, Day, or Al. Ali is a reserved title, though. That's a reserved title. You have to be given the title of Ali. You know what I'm saying? But El, Bey, Day, Ali, or Al, claim it. You ain't got to wait and be like, man, I ain't studied up enough yet. So what? You claim it and you keep studying. That's how you declare your nationality. You claim your title when it comes to you, and then you be what you know. You learning it, you always going to be learning. I'm always going to be learning. You never stop learning till you under the ground. That's when you stop learning. So you don't got to, I ain't got all the information. I ain't got all the books yet. It don't matter. As long as somebody asks you who you are, I'm Moorish American. I'm Moorish American. That's what I'm repping. I'm repping Moorish American. Then you study the 101s, the 102s, and you take it from there and teach your children. So how it look like you identifying as a Moorish American, but your children identifying as crayon colors? That shit is insane. That's crazy. It's time to break them generational curses, though. You know what I'm saying? And only you can do it. Only you can do it. Can't nobody make you say nothing. Can't nobody make you learn nothing. Receipt, though, 1933, April 17th. What you mean? Like, what you mean? Brazilians, they come from Brazil. That's America. Haitians, Haiti, America. Irish, Ireland, Europe. German, Germany, Europe. Malayan, Kenyan, Africa. You see that? Mexican, Mexico, America. Japanese, Japan, Asia. Indian, Hindu, India, Hindustan, Asia. Black, white, Latin American, African American, Native American. Who are you? You don't have a land. You don't have a continent you come from. You got question marks. Colored, Latino, Spanish, brown, U.S. citizen. You like what? What are you talking about? You got crayon colors and you got places that don't exist on no map. They don't exist. So I know that the spell is strong and I know that the spell is wicked. But one thing for certain though, everybody else claims a flag. They claim a land. These places right here, they not land. They're not flags. They don't exist only except in your mind. They're not real places. And somebody might say, well, I don't deal with that. I just deal with the spiritual world. That's cool that you deal with the spiritual world. But the spiritual world is in tune with the physical world. Spirit means the breath. That's what spirit means. That's all spirit means. It's the breath. Spirituality is our breathing techniques like yoga, prana. When you go take courses and classes about how to activate your kundalini energy, your prana, when you're doing stuff like that, look, when you're doing stuff like that, like if you say you're studying this, right? If you say that you're studying becoming supernatural, if you're studying becoming supernatural, you see this symbol right here, this catechus. This catechus is in line with the human body, the human life vehicle. That's what this catechus means. That's what it stands for. This right here is our mind, body, and soul transcending to our higher selves. These are the wings of my yacht. This is the crown. This is the pineal gland, the cone-sized shape. This symbolizes the activation of the kundalini energy from the base of our spine to the top of our pineal gland to our crown. This is the wings where we fly and take off to the spiritual world, to the astral world. This is why Noble Drew Ali said this is a divine and national movement. Divine, spiritual, national, man, woman, and child. You see that? It's a divine and national movement. See? But if you choose to keep identifying as black and white and Latino land and Native American, American Indian, you continue to play victim in your own mind. It's crazy because you're playing a victim in your own mind. You're a victim in your own mind. Instead of looking at real history and saying, hold up, pump the brakes. This can't be right. It's got to be some other kind of reason why we keep going through what we're going through. It's got to be other reasons. It can't just be because we keep misidentifying as black and colored and Native American, can it? Yeah, it is. That's it. This catechus, the symbol of medicine with a twist to it, because this version shows you the 7 chakras, which are the 7 churches that you must activate inside of your body, your temple, to be all that you can be. Where do you think the army got that line from? You think the army got that line out of thin air? The army got that line because these people got think tanks. They study more science. They know the only way that people can be all that they can be in this human experience is they have to reconnect their catechus. They have to reconnect their kundalini energy. They have to reconnect their breathing, their prana, back to Allah. They have to reconnect their mindset back to Allah, which is the higher self. The lower self is if you're dealing with so-called the devil. You dealing with greed, you dealing with hate, you dealing with lust, jealousy, envy. You dealing with gluttony. You dealing with the lower self, murder, lewdness, over-sexualization. That's when you dealing with the so-called devil in yourself. God and the devil are in yourself. They're not outside of self. See, this is where you start going deeper into more science. When you start going deeper into it, you pick up this book right here, the Holy Quran, More Science Symbol of America, Circle 7. Then you start looking up where God is and where the devil is. The God and the devil are in you. You just got to know what you're doing. It's how you use the knowledge. That's the key. Remember, there's only two things in this planet. There's truth and there's falsehood. That's it. There's either truth or falsehood. That's it. That's all. Ain't nothing to overcomplicate. So all you got to do is come to the light. The light is the knowledge. And you use the light for positive. You don't use the light for dark purposes. You use the light to see and to help other people see. Versus going into the darkness, which is ignorance, and keeping people ignorant, afraid, full of fear. You know what I'm saying? That's what the dark force uses. The dark force uses fear for control purposes. That's what the dark force they do. They use the fear of the unknown to cause hatred, to cause war. You know what I'm saying? Fuse and all that. The remedy is knowledge itself. So I hope y'all got something off this beam. I'm finna move around though. You know how I go, man. You know how I go. Straight up. It's always each one teach one though. Know that. It's always each one teach one, fam. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all got something from this beam out. You know how I go though. So I'm gonna show y'all these books. I'm gonna show y'all these books while I move around though. So y'all can, if you catching up right now, I'm finna show y'all these books so y'all can see what's going on. Get them in your library though. Alright? Hold up. Oh yeah. If you got questions, hit me up in the DM. I'll get back to you. You said, who was Jesus Christ? His name was not Jesus. His name was Yehoshua or Yeshua. He was a Moor. His great-great-grandmama was Ruth the Moabitess. His name was not Jesus. That's like somebody calling you out your name and they're expecting you to turn around and answer their prayer. Not going to answer your prayer. You ain't even calling them by the right name. Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yahweh, that's his name. Good question. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Let's go. More volume 1 and 2. Study, study, study. Yeah. Critical thinking. It's time to start critical thinking, Morris. It's our time now. It's our time now. Let's go. Don't let them send you off. Get the books so you can know yourself. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Devontae on the track. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all know what time it is. We not black, Moors. Let's go. Don't forget that J.A. Rogers. They ain't gonna touch on J.A. Rogers. He was dropping heat. They ain't gonna touch on him. They ain't gonna touch on this either. Ooh. You think the immigrant thing a new thing? This immigrant thing ain't no new thing. All hybrid Europeans is immigrants. Let's go. Let's go. Peace be upon the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Let's go. Study, 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 Moors. Yeah. I'll catch y'all on the next one, though. I self-law and master. Each one teach one. Much love to all y'all Moors out there, all y'all Asiatics out there. Catch y'all on the next one, though. Much love. Islam.